Identity is broken. 80% of hacks aren't hacks. They are hackers logging in with stolen credentials. And that's the real fundamental issue with passwords. It's just too easy. The user experience is horrid. Numidio OpenID is different because we are not relying on the customer storing the identity information. We're providing a centralized repository for all of that personally identifiable information. We are using that in conjunction with market-leading biometrics and using multiple factors to improve the efficacy of those biometrics. And by doing that, we're able to provide a log-on experience that is natural, simple, and password-free.
A user typically will either have to try and remember their particular credentials for that particular application or that particular website, or they may be able to utilize an existing ID. So, for example, their Google ID or Facebook or Numidio. And OpenID is a way of allowing websites to offer that facility for users to use their own identity. In 5 years' time, everybody will be using biometrics, rather than just, this isn't flying cars stuff. This is really how it's going to be. There's a kind of acceptance and an expectation that you do that on your mobile phone and you use an app, and the app's tied to a particular supplier, and that's what people are expecting. But actually there's some real hidden barriers with that if you lose your phone or if you just forget your phone, then your identity is tied to your device.
The benefit to the corporation itself is a massive reduction in password resets, because clearly they're not using passwords. A step up in security, because it doesn't matter if someone's stolen the credentials, they can't steal the biometrics to add to the credentials. You're just providing a much better experience. Means that Numidio adds up. We're fixing a really big problem. Everyone's connecting everywhere. There are no perimeters anymore. There are no boundaries. And given that authentication to gain access is so critical, it's now that we need to really address the username password and replace that with a password-free, multi-factor authentication platform that is using best-of-breed biometrics.
True peace, Kens. It is Tuesday, October the 6th, 2020, and I am back at y'all with another one. And if you're trying to stay ahead of the game, guess what? You should subscribe to Peep the Slang. Numidio OpenID certification enables biometric to replace increasingly vulnerable passwords. Say, man, peep the slang. Numidio has announced its biometric technology is now certified for the OpenID Connect standard to allow users to access the vast majority of cloud service providers and websites through a single unified digital identity with passwordless multi-factor authentication. OpenID Connect provides a simple identity layer based on the OAuth 2.0 protocol and certification to allows Numidio customers to replace passwords and legacy two-factor authentication with simple and secure logins with Numidio's biometrics. Replacing password is a good way for organizations to improve their security posture, as new survey results from Numidio show that almost a quarter of millennials, 24%, use a single password for all accounts. Businesses need biometric multi-factor authentication because it's the only way to prevent employees from writing down and reusing passwords and sharing credentials, states Numidio Commercial Director Philip Black. No matter how much effort a firm invests in employee access management, it's worthless if those employees can share their passwords and one-time passcodes. Imagine you're out on the road without a mobile signal or battery. With today's device-centric approach to multi-factor, you're locked out, Black adds. Numidio added Oculab's voice biometrics to its multi-factor cloud authentication service in July. The survey from Numidio perhaps surprisingly shows that only 2% of baby boomers use the same passwords for all accounts, and younger generations are more frequently displaying behaviors in addition to password reuse that make them more susceptible to identity fraud, among people in Generation Z and millennials, so aged to 16 to 38, 14% claim they have never changed their passwords, and 80% use a common substitution such as switching in zeros from O's among baby boomers. By contrast, 62% change passwords at least twice per year. Young people are trading security for convenience, but that could come back to a bite for their identity is compromised. Comments being tied. Nomidio, head of worldwide sales. The survey clearly shows that we need modern and secure ways of logging in. Easy to use biometric systems like Nomidio mean people can log in wherever, like using their own face or voice, which are more secure and impossible to misplace. It's secure and convenient. Credential sharing is also rampant among young people, the company says, with 62% of people between 16 and 38 years old sharing credentials with family and friends and exchanging them in email or messages, with further increases the attack surface. 1 in 5 millennials also leave passwords accessible in contacts or note pages of internet connected devices. Less than 20% of respondents overall had used a service to check if their credentials have been breached. Nomidio does not mention in the press release where the survey was conducted or when. Online account used to increase login impatience remains. The number of accounts and frequency of use by consumers is set to continue increasing as well, according to a ForgeRock survey. A new report, The New Normal, Living Life Online, shows that 45% of consumers expect they will use online services even more after the pandemic. The report also shows that 35% are prepared to cancel an account over a difficult log-in process, and 32% will consider switching to a new service. Further, 31% of consumers 65 and older intend to shop only online, even after stay-at-home restrictions end. ForgeRock surveyed 5,000 consumers from the US, UK, Germany, Australia, and Singapore.